Tell me about a time when you had to give feedback to a colleague. It's a question that can catch many people off guard. That's why today we're going to tackle this interview question head on, really get stuck into how to impress the interviewer with our knowledge, our skills, and our experience. In this video, I'm going to reveal to you the 5 key steps that will have you crafting a perfect answer first time, every time. We'll also look at how you can avoid common mistakes. We'll look how to choose an impactful example. And then after we've laid all the groundwork to a perfect answer, I'll provide an example answer that hits all the notes the interviewer is looking for, and that could be a real game changer in your next interview. If you hate the sound of my voice, you should check out the show notes for a link to a text article on this topic. Ready? Let's get going. Now let's begin with answer structure. These type of questions, often called competency-based questions, are all about sharing your experience with the interviewer. The interviewer wants to hear what you did, how you did it, and maybe most important of all, why you did it. In order to achieve this, your answer needs to be well structured. You need to ensure that you hit all the key points that you want the interviewer to hear in a logical order, while also avoiding the urge to ramble on. The best way to pull this off is by using the B-star method. Using this technique, you will split your answer into 5 individual parts. The first is the B, which stands for belief. You want to begin your response by sharing your thoughts and feelings regarding the subject matter. This helps set the stage for your answer and demonstrates your personal connection to the topic. If this doesn't make much sense to you, don't worry, there will be an example answer using this structure later in this video. Next up, we have S for situation. Briefly describe the context or background of the scenario in which your actions took place. This provides the interviewer with an understanding of the circumstances surrounding your experience. Remember, it's essential to keep this part concise, as the primary focus should be on your actions and the results. Just give the interviewer the quick who, what, where, when, and why. Following the situation, we have T for task. Explain your specific role and responsibilities in the situation. By doing this, you highlight what you were entrusted with in your previous roles and also lets the interviewer understand what expectations were made of you within the situation at hand. Up next, we have the most important section, and that is A for action, or activity if you prefer. Describe the steps you took to achieve the desired outcome and explain the rationale behind your actions. This part of your answer should be the most detailed, as it illustrates your problem-solving abilities, relevant skills, and adaptability in handling challenges. And finally, we have R for the results. Conclude your response with the results of your actions, using figures or quantifiable outcomes whenever possible. This will demonstrate to the interviewer the impact of your efforts and your ability to deliver tangible results in your role. This is also where you could share any lessons you learned from the experience. We know how we're going to structure our answer. What we need to do next is pick an example from our experiences and build out our ideal answer. But before we start building out our masterpiece, let's talk about some of the things that you definitely don't want to say. Things like, I told them straight up that they were doing everything wrong and needed to pay more attention. Try not to make your example too direct. Sure, you need the recipient to understand your feedback, but a little bit of empathy goes a long way in these situations. This leads us into the second thing you should not do when answering this question, which is to give a vague or a generic answer. The question includes the phrase, tell me about the time. This means that interviewers want to hear specific examples. Avoid providing a response that isn't based on an actual experience or one that lacks detail and doesn't showcase your own thoughts or actions. Now let's look at the third thing you shouldn't say. I always give feedback by email, so I don't have to deal with the person's reaction. While written feedback is appropriate in some contexts, this approach may be seen as impersonal and is surely less effective than face-to-face communication. Answering in this manner would also indicate to the interviewer that you are perhaps scared to provide the feedback, which might be perceived as you not having faith in your assessment. We've explored how to construct our response, and we have also looked at pitfalls to avoid when answering this question. Next, let's delve into selecting the most effective example to use in our answer. Think about the following points when you're coming up with stories from your experience to tell the interviewer. The first thing your answer should have is a positive outcome. Choose an example that can only be described as a success driven by you and one which you can use to showcase the benefits of your actions. This is not to say you can't have taken lessons away from the venture, and it is always good to talk about how you would improve upon your actions in the future. But the underlying situation should be resolved successfully when you are outlining your answer. The second thing your example should be is relevant to the job you are applying for. Choose an example that is closely related to the job that you are applying for. An example that is from the same industry or sector would be the most preferable. A good trick here would be to learn what upcoming work your new team has in the pipeline and use examples from your past that are relevant to that work. And finally, your example should represent a challenge. Look for examples where you faced a significant challenge or problem and were able to resolve it effectively. Put simply, you're trying to impress the interviewer. Make sure your example isn't some run-of-the-mill situation that anybody could have fixed. Pick an example which shows that only you had the skills or know-how to get the job done. Now, let's put everything we have learned together and see a B-star example in action. The question being answered again is, tell me about a time when you had to give feedback to a colleague. I believe that feedback, when delivered constructively, is a powerful tool for personal and professional growth. In my previous role as a team leader, there was a situation where one of my team members, Alex, was consistently missing project deadlines, which was affecting our team's overall performance. My task was to address this issue without demotivating Alex. I arranged a private meeting to discuss his performance, ensuring the setting was comfortable and free from interruptions. I started by acknowledging his strengths, particularly his creativity, which was a great asset to our team. Then I gently brought up the missed deadlines, providing specific examples. I actively listened to his side of the story and discovered that he was struggling with time management due to personal challenges. Together, we developed a plan that included time management training and a more flexible work schedule that accommodated his needs. I also scheduled regular check-ins to offer support and track progress. The result was remarkable. Within a couple of months, not only did Alex start meeting his deadlines, but there was also a noticeable improvement in his overall work quality. This experience reinforced my belief in the importance of empathetic and constructive feedback. It not only resolved the immediate issue, but also helped Alex to develop skills that boosted his confidence and his performance. Alright then, that wraps up our analysis of this interview question. I hope by watching this video you'll be more prepared for this question the next time you are asked. Speaking of being prepared, are there any interview questions that you struggle with every time you are asked, regardless of how well you prepare? Drop a comment below with the question that's been giving you a hard time, and we will dedicate our very next video to breaking it down and giving you the strategies to tackle it with confidence. Your input is invaluable, and together we can make your next interview your best one yet. And as always, if you like our videos, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, keep practicing, stay positive. Your dream job is just around the corner. Take care.